The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. What is it? We don't know. The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. Here we go, it's the Gun Shop Show.
Welcome to the Gun Shop Show. I'm your host, Eli Logan Jones.
Are you Logan the Indiana Jones?
Only on weekends.
Oh, is that whenever you go out and you do all your switching?
Mm-hmm. I'm only allowed to have my whip on weekends.
Oh,
so
yeah. The wife really cracked down on you, huh?
She did. But I'm your host. Eli's out doing Eli stuff.
More Eli stuff. This is
More
some
Eli
pretty.
stuff.
This is epic Eli
It's
stuff.
pretty in-depth Eli stuff.
Yeah.
You know how he be sometimes, though.
He crafting.
Mm-hmm. And those beautiful voices you're hearing are
yes.
mine, Logan Jones, the host. And also we have our producer, our creative director, the one, the only, the Trevor Smith.
Hey, everybody. Sometimes I forget that I'm the creative director.
He forgets a lot, but that's besides the point.
That is.
And that other voice you may have heard is our one, the only, the always charming Alan Snow.
And he's gorgeous. He's excellent. Logan.
I don't know what we just watched. I don't know what that was.
I have to say, I thought of that and I was like, that has to be a thing. I don't know about the real American hero part.
Let us know in the comments how you felt about that.
Yeah.
I got a little jealous.
Well,
you know,
he needs his own. Everybody should have their own introduction.
Unique
on the show.
intro. Who's going to do your intro? Though?
Well,
You can't do your own intro.
Well, mine's just me being over the top and unnecessarily ridiculous. Like, hey, everybody. You know, I can't just say hi, which was told one
How are
time
you?
that I say bye weird. So I'm working on hi. I'm trying to say hi weird.
Yeah. I don't like saying bye. It's weird. Anyway,
I don't either. But you know what?
what's up?
So,
I was about to tell the audience about what we're going to talk about.
oh,
But if you got stuff to talk about, let's
well,
go.
I had something I wanted to mention.
Go ahead, mention
and
it.
So a couple weeks ago, Alan dropped on us that he's not a Weberman, and I still am trying to come to terms with that. Okay. But he shows up today with what appears to be some sort of seasoning device. What do we get? What are we working with today, Alan?
So this is an assault weapon. Mm-hmm. It will salt all your food, and you can also use it to shoot flies.
Yeah, so that's probably its primary goal. But what they didn't intend on was that we were going to line up steaks. How many steaks per hour are you doing with that thing, man? Per minute?
It's a pump action, so you know it's not very quick.
Yeah.
You can
probably be quick with it.
You could probably season about 50 a minute, maybe.
Yeah.
So
What I'm envisioning is that you're sitting at a dinner table with your family.
Yeah.
And it's a long table. And the salt's way over there.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to pass it around.
No.
It's going to take
Don't
forever.
pass the salt.
You grab your assault rifle or your assault weapon. You load it up and you shoot that salt across the table right onto that steak.
What about? I mean, they make
Beautiful.
a pepper version.
Why not?
You could probably convert this. It could be converted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say
it's convertible.
I'm going to need a Montreal steak edition.
And if you're listening on the radio and you're like, what are these guys talking about? It's a yellow,
Yeah, show our folks
kind
at
of
home.
Nerf looking assault weapon used to shoot flies.
Yeah, and it's got laser.
It shoots a concentrated blast assault.
It's got freaking laser beams
It
attached
does
to
have
it.
freaking laser beams. And it's super cool, and it not that harmful for humans.
No,
I was shot in
afraid
the hand by it, and
Did it hurt?
while it wasn't comfortable per se,
Right.
it did not hurt.
So you want a more comfortable experience when shot with salt?
No, I would say it was the right amount.
Oh, okay.
It was
Just
enough
right.
to make me go, I shouldn't do that again, but at the same time, not fear it getting done again.
Yeah, and also to the bugs, probably not so good.
Not even a little bit.
So I guess it works then, Alan. It does its job.
Oh, it does. It does. You know, while you're grilling,
Yeah.
you're salting your food.
Yeah, the fly
You're
lands on the
grilling.
steak.
The fly comes bothering you, you know, because when you're grilling, you know, you always got that fly.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
with this thing, man.
Nope.
You just whip it out, boom.
Blast it.
Yeah.
Fly
At some point, the
fly
flies
gone.
will be able to recognize it and try to avoid you.
Guaranteed.
But
I-
until then,
Dude, that has got to be a real thing because back in the day, I used to work at this place, and some guy, he would always leave the back door open when he'd go out and smoke, and I'd come in, and there would just be like, you would have thought that this was, I don't want to say it. So anyway, there were flies everywhere, right? And as soon as you would get the fly swatter out, they would all disappear. You put the fly swatter up, they'd come back. I'm pretty sure
I don't
flies
know.
have caught on to the
always is.
swatters.
I know my cat does that with squirt bottle. I pull out the squirt bottle, they know, runs away. I just don't see flies being that intelligent. But
who knows? I mean, if all the flies that are dying are the flies that weren't smart enough to get out of the way of the fly swatter, you're left with the flies that are reproducing other flies that are becoming more aware of the fly swatter.
Maybe.
You just got scienced.
Maybe.
You're welcome.
Maybe.
Yeah, kind of like the buffalo effect, you know.
I'm not familiar with the buffalo effect.
Oh yeah, you know, the slowest buffalo is the one who
Oh,
gets
yeah.
caught or gets killed, and you know, so the stronger buffaloes reproduce.
Right.
Same thing with flies.
For science enthusiasts,
Which
that's known as
we don't do it
evolution.
to the human race.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, probably in our ancestry, there was some of that, but now we, all aboard. We bring them all in. We take care of everybody. No one gets left behind. That's just the way that it is, because we're compassionate human beings.
Yeah.
So speaking of which,
What's up?
I'm going to say something that has nothing to do with it, and that is our guest today is a gentleman from
you
Scotland.
stole it from me.
But I'll let you take it. Take the wheel, bro. This is your show. This is your show. You're the host.
No, we have an exciting show for you. We're talking to David Ewing from Scotland, who is a founding member of Firearms UK. He's going to talk about what it's like to own firearms in Scotland, how that differs from other countries in the UK. And it'll be exciting and probably a little depressing for us.
Well, yeah,
Because some of the regulations they have on firearms are pretty cruel.
Yeah, and we've learned a little bit about that from talking to our friend Callum from the UK, or sorry, he was from England.
Yeah, and Mike
Lindsay.
from Northern Ireland. Yep.
And so, they've kind of given us a little bit of light, but, we like to talk to him and have some contrast to the freedoms that we have. Also, we want them to be more free. So anything that we can do
absolutely.
to try to raise awareness about these laws in their country to make them more free. Because if they're more free, then we will most likely become more free. It's a global thing. The whole globe should become more free, less oppression.
I agree.
And the way to do that is through diplomacy and conversation, because war is the last thing that you actually want to experience.
Talking to guests like this always makes me so grateful of this wonderful country we live
Absolutely.
in, and all of the rights that we have
God
that a lot of
bless
other countries
America.
don't. God bless America. Absolutely right. We have freedom of speech.
Right.
That's a big one that a lot of countries don't
That's
have.
why they put that number one, bro.
Super important. And we have a right to bear arms and defend our lives.
Absolutely.
Number two.
I think that, I'm not going to speak about what I thought our founding fathers was thinking, but if they were thinking, make this the top bill item on the bill, and then the right to bear arms second, like in the countries of our guests that we were talking about, they can't even talk about it. They can't even talk about it, and their gun rights are taken away from them. So it's every bit as important that we're able to speak freely.
And having that conversation is the way that you get legislation to change.
Yeah.
And by taking away that conversation, you're pretty much taking any chance of changing anything.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard to articulate your point when you're not allowed to speak.
Or you can't say certain words. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys heard, but the Supreme Court upheld the right to say the F word, which is one of the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Believe it or not, one justice dissented on that. Isn't that
The
crazy?
right to say the F word?
Well,
Like you
I mean,
can't
it's
say the
freedom
F
of speech. The whole story is, I guess, a cheerleader on the at a game had said it, and something happened to her, and so it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and they ruled that look at this stuff.
I feel like you should be able to say whatever you want and then just face the repercussions of whatever that may be.
Right. Yeah, I think so too.
We should
and I
never
think that
limit speech just because.
at least the government shouldn't.
Absolutely.
It's the government that I think is the issue there more than anything, is whenever a government body decides that you can't say certain words, which is what's happening right now, because we can't say the word that I'm talking about because the FCC won't let us, or they'll fine. Anyway, when you can't say certain words and the government can enforce action is not the same as if a private company tells you that you can't say something on their platform.
Yeah. Which we kind of experienced with Facebook earlier this week when I was trying to find our fan page, the Gun Shop Show fan page. Searching the Gun Shop Show fan page popped up a warning saying that this content may go against our community guidelines or something of that nature.
Well, they said that it sometimes is associated with the sale of firearms.
That's
which
what
is
it is.
prohibited.
That's what it is. My apologies.
Facebook.
And then you have to say you still want to see this group and this content.
Yeah.
And then it asks you one more time, I think, and you have to click OK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That
I mean,
sounds like a lot of clicking.
it is, and it's unnecessary.
strange.
But I mean, how far is Facebook going to take
One
it?
thing, though, that is necessary is that you get legal defense for your self-defense. And that's where U.S. Law Shield comes in. They're a company that prides themselves on protecting your right to self-defense, and they do that in numerous ways. One way, as soon as you become a member, you get a little card here, and I don't have mine on. Actually, I might have mine on me, but we don't really have enough time for that. That has that has two numbers. One, a number for you can call and ask any questions you want, and then another red number, and that's the important number to call as soon as you've been in a self-defense altercation. That's a number to attorney who'll answer day and night. He'll take care of you and make sure that you get legal counsel. And some other benefits you get from signing up and using our promo code LibertyTree is you get your rate locked in at, I believe, $10.95.
Cheaper than Netflix.
Cheaper than Netflix. You get that rate locked in. So as prices go up, that price will always stay the same. And we know how expensive legal defense is.
Yeah, you ain't getting a lawyer.
Extremely.
Yeah, you ain't getting a lawyer for $11 a month. That's
Not
guaranteed.
even a little bit. Now stay with us on the Gun Shop Show.
Hey everyone, the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by Carthage Lock and Key. If you need anything to do with a lock or a key...
To success!
Did they tell you to say that?
No, I just thought it sounded good.
They have a mobile service, so they can come to you and cut pretty much any kind of key.
To success!
Or if you lock your keys in your
To
car...
success!
I'm talking even security modern chip keys.
To success!
Trevor, could you just jingle the name of the business?
Okay. Yeah, I'll do it good this time.
So, with all of my properties and all of the needs I have, I trust
Carthage Lock and Key! To success!
Our member is involved in a brief road rage incident. One driver cuts off another in traffic, and harsh words and gestures soon follow. After the pleasantries are exchanged, our driver goes on his way assuming the incident is over. However, still agitated, the other driver calls 911 and reports our member as aggressive, possibly having seen a weapon in his hand. In reality, what he saw was our member flipping him the bird. In an incident that can only be described as an overreaction by officers, our member is pulled over. When officers learn that he carries a legal concealed firearm, they arrest him despite a lack of evidence. This incident is just one of numerous member experiences. Be aware when traveling with a firearm. Any aggressive actions made by you, right or wrong, can land you in jail. Don't let it happen to you.
Talk about it. What? Yeah. Here we go. 44,000 business cards. I said 44,000 business cards. I said 44,000 business cards. I said 44. Crap. 44,000.
We're Dirt Road Comedy, and when we're not traveling around in our luxurious RV, we like to listen to a gun shop show.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. We are giving away another $100 gift card. And the way you win that is by sharing the feed on Facebook and tagging 5 friends.
Pretty simple.
It's that simple. We're also going to announce later in the show, make sure I say it so we don't forget to do it, the winner of last week's $100 gift card giveaway. Joining us today on the Gun Shop Show, all the way from Scotland, is David Ewing, who is the founding member of Firearms UK. David, how are we doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Thank you for having me on the show. Looking forward to it.
Of course, anytime. Now, David, the Firearms UK, you're the founder. What exactly does the Firearms UK do or entail?
Well, basically, we just try and promote shooting sports in the UK, try and make people aware that they can actually own certain firearms in the UK, and get people involved, get them out trying it, and hopefully to try and increase the numbers of, obviously we need firearms licenses in this country, or certificates as they're called. So we're just trying to increase the number of people that have firearm certificates, so that hopefully someday we can maybe have enough influence that we'll stop being used as a scapegoat for criminals, and hopefully get some of the things that have been banned returned to us.
I was looking over your website, firearmsuk.org. If I remember correctly, and let me just go ahead and reference that home page there. You guys got your start, was it with the air rifle ban, I guess? Was it? It looked like, what, 2013, I think? Is that correct?
Yeah, that was, well, in Scotland, the current sort of ruling party, we've got our own devolved parliament, and they made a pledge it was actually to license air guns. So it's basically harder to get an air gun now than it is maybe a shotgun, for example, in Scotland. And it was all just, typical politics. It was never, air gun crime was falling, it was minuscule, it wasn't a big thing, but it was a great way for them, that party, to try and show how tough they were on crime and things like that. We started off as myself. I started a petition against it, and it was supported by a lot of the shooting organisations at the time. And basically, unfortunately, they were licensed. It's not been the worst thing ever, but still would rather it never happened. But on the back of it, with a lot of shooting organisations working together, and that was something that I wanted to see happen more often, which is what led to the founding of Firearms UK. Basically, I wanted to see whether you were a former pistol shooter, a rifle shooter, if you were a hunter, a target shooter, whatever your interest was, we should all be working together, because as far as I'm concerned, an attack on one discipline is an attack on everything. But it's interesting that in England and Wales, air guns aren't licensed. Anything under 12 foot-pounds of energy isn't licensed. So they're still doing what we used to be able to do, and it's not a wash with air gun crime. So it's just been a big waste of money in Scotland, really. It's not really done anything about crime. It was just an opportunity for politicians to try and look good.
Right.
But,
go ahead.
So it's just the usual story. Just then,
What kind of crime is being committed by air guns in Scotland to warrant such a restriction?
Well, it came about. There was a toddler. I can't remember how old. I think maybe 2 or 3 year old, was shot in the head with an air rifle. But the person that done it was, I think he was a drug addict, so he was a known criminal. Apparently, there's rumours that he had illegally doctored the rifle to make it more powerful, which was again illegal. There's rumours that certain people actually gave this guy the rifle to pay off a drug debt, so it's all quite murky. But there was only one incident in Scotland of someone being murdered with an air gun. That was it. The person was caught and jailed, but the Scottish National Party government or party made it a pledge to restrict air guns on the back of that. So as usual, they're exploiting a tragic event to further their agendas.
Yeah.
Logan, I think that's one of the things that, a lot of people are concerned about is, if they start banning or regulating air guns, then that's kind of sounds like, they start going after other things.
Yeah, get rubber band pistols next.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And someone got their eye put out with that thing, so we should probably make it illegal.
Yeah, it's kind of a gateway restriction.
If I read correctly, it was the definition of the air guns that they changed and defined them as dangerous weapons. Is that correct, Dave?
There was in one license, we would always try and call them air guns, but in legislation they refer to them as air weapons. And I always feel that language is a very powerful tool, and I've always felt that referring to them as weapons is another way to scaremonger around them.
Yes.
I always point out that, as I say, that was the only time I can find where someone was murdered with an air gun. It happened to be, unfortunately, a small child. But when I actually went to the Scottish Parliament with my petition, and there was an MSP at the time who he tried to have a go at me about it, and obviously he was basically saying, well, a child died, so we have to ban these things. And I pointed out to him that just down the road from the Scottish Parliament, in an area just along from it, a child was actually murdered with a golf club. So that was one child murdered with an air gun, one child murdered with a golf club. Misused, are both just as dangerous. So why aren't we seeing the same attack on golf clubs and controlling golf clubs? Because every reason you use to restrict firearms could easily have been applied to golf clubs. Be a member of a club, have good reason for it. You can't just have them lying around. It's because it's firearms, it's a very easy target.
Well, it would be unfortunate if golf became illegal in Scotland, because isn't that where golf was born, was in Scotland?
Well, so they say, yeah. I'm a better shot than I'm a golfer. So
yeah, me too. But I'm terrible at both. So.
I am absolutely terrible at golf.
I probably would be better off hitting the target if I threw the round than if I had actually fired it.
That's not true.
Are you talking about golf or
both
or shooting?
Honestly,
Trevor?
both. I'm terrible at golf.
I'm decent at mini golf, but that's about it.
Right. Well, so I guess overall, the whole act was successful, that they outlawed that and there was a confiscation that took place. Is that true?
Well, it's an interesting one. See, because they weren't banning them, they said basically owners could sell them or hand them in for free. There wasn't any compensation given out. Whereas previously with the handgun ban, owners were compensated. But in this case, they were told, sell them, give them to a gun shop, hand them into the police. With regards to the actual crime, I don't know if you can say it was successful, because air gun crime was so small, it was almost non-existent.
Right.
So they've spent millions of pounds, wasted a lot of police man hours. And the thing as well is, police firearms licensed departments are often said to be undermanned, and it takes time. It can take months potentially to get your license through. So it's just adding a bigger burden to them. So it's been pointless. It's just a political exercise and nothing more. I don't want to say it was successful, because there was nothing really.
Hey, Dave.
If we had,
we're coming up on a break. We'll pick back up after the words from our sponsors.
Okay, we'll be right back with you. Stay with us. This is the Gun Shop Show.
Hey, podcast listeners and live stream viewers. I wanted to let you know that the Gun Shop Show is made possible by our friends at Mid-America RV. Being in the customer service industry, I have a really high standard for how customers are treated. Mid-America RV does it right. I've got my RV through their dealership, and I've taken it all over the country. We made it to South Padre Island. We've gone to Colorado several times. And if you've ever owned an RV, you know there's a lot that comes with it. So who you get it from matters, and it's extremely important that you have support after the sale. They're located just outside of Carthage. They have a really vast inventory, and they are home of, I believe they call it a forever warranty. So I urge you, if you're in the market for one, to check them out. It's a really fun and can be very affordable way to get your trips in. So visit them at midamericarv.com. We appreciate their support of the Gun Shop Show. If you're in the market for a travel trailer or fifth wheel, check out Mid-America RV.
game wardens have seen it all. Learn from them. How in the world does a dog shoot a man when proper safety is completely ignored? For example, a Texas hunter was shot and killed by his own dog. With the safety off, the dog stepped on his loaded shotgun in the bed of his pickup truck. Somehow, his paw got in the trigger guard and discharged the shotgun. Tragically, the 46-year-old math teacher was struck in the thigh and died. A hunter in Minnesota was shot in the leg when his dog jumped aboard his boat. And a bulldog in Florida shot his owner while they were driving to a hunting spot. Believe it or not, these astonishing cases are all true, and game wardens have seen it all. Hunters and anglers, that is why we are so pleased to announce our brand new series of exciting events featuring retired game wardens and experienced lawyers who hunt, whose sole purpose is to keep you safe on the hunt or on the water and on the right side of the law. Each event is designed to give hunters and anglers the essential law that they need to stay out of trouble, plus provide the opportunity for real questions and answers from these highly trained professionals in a fun and interactive manner. If you hunt, fish, or love someone that does, you owe it to yourself to attend. Best of all, it's sponsored by your friends at Texas Law Shield, so you know it will be great. As always, stay armed, stay educated, and register for a sportsman law seminar today.
Hey everybody, Eli here, and I'm really excited to tell you that the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by one of my favorite places on earth. Located here in my hometown of Carthage on the beautiful historic square, the Emporium on the square, and the Woodshed. It's a art gallery, an event center, a gift shop. They have art classes, and there's very unique Americana artwork from famous artists like Andy Thomas. They handle a lot of his original framing. Just has this incredible old school vibe, and you can feel the history coming through. Have to check out the art gallery, but then as you work your way to the back, my favorite part, the Woodshed, had a lot of great meals in here. They've got burgers. I love their catfish. Excellent. Chicken and waffles even. It's incredible. And it's also a music venue, so we got to see my favorite band of all time, the Ben Miller Band. Ceiling was literally raining down. They were rocking so hard. But the best thing, owned by one of my favorite people on earth, that's Cherry Babcock. Check out the Emporium on the Square and the Woodshed.
If I wasn't watching the Gun Shop Show, I wouldn't be as cool as I am.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. If you want to get entered in for a chance to win a $100 Liberty Tree gift card, all you have to do is share the feed on Facebook and tag 5 friends. I almost
Look at
lost
us.
it there. That
I
was
know,
weird.
man. I came in with the assist and helped
And
you
if you're
out.
like, what do you mean share the feed and tag 5
what's
friends?
sharing and tagging?
You're going to want to go to Facebook. You're going to want to type in Liberty Tree Guns. You'll see us there. We'll be live. All you have to do is share that feed and then tag 5 friends to win a $100
also,
gift card.
If
Maybe.
you want to be a nice guy, just go ahead and throw a like on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead
Give
and
a
like that
little
as
thumbs
well.
up.
Yeah.
And
We'd appreciate
if
it.
they don't currently have 5 friends,
Yeah.
they could tag you, correct, Trevor? And you will be their friend?
I'm everybody's friend.
that's true.
He's a
Alan.
friendly- you're a friendly guy.
I am a
thought
friendly
so.
guy.
So if they don't have 5 friends,
Trevor will be all
Tag
5
Trevor.
friends for
I'll
them.
be all 5 friends.
He'll be all 5 friends.
Yeah.
I do have alter egos.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know what I was going to say, so let's move on, guys.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
Let's talk
fine.
today.
It was going to be
Yeah, let's talk
profound.
to Dave.
Yeah, let's talk to Dave. Hey, Dave, all the way from Scotland.
So you were
Well, hi
saying that air gun crime was pretty much non-existent. How much exactly crime was being committed with air guns? Like one a year, couple year? Did you just using them to?
Trying to remember now, like we had. I told you all the stats a few years ago. I've kind of forgotten, but it was. I think if you're talking as a percentage of the air guns in circulation against crime, you're talking about it was like 0.013% or something like that. The ratio of air guns to air gun crime, it was tiny. You know, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's plenty of laws covering misuse. I mean, it's the usual case that they could have just enforced current laws.
Right.
And
So-
you know,
Prior to the airband gun, because it is so difficult for you to get your FAC, your firearm certificate over there, did more people go out and recreational shoot air guns. And so now this ban has kind of taken that activity away also. So now it's pretty much you just go get a firearm certificate, right? I mean,
well, yeah, I think a lot of people were quite happy with air guns. You know, you could have shot, let's face it, you could shoot them indoors if you had a big enough house or out in your garden. You know, the law stated that as long as you were responsible, you know, pellets didn't leave your boundary, your land. It was quite sensible, I would say, the law. But I think, yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people thought, well, if I need to apply for an air gun licence, I might as well apply for a shotgun certificate or a firearm certificate. So I think some people did. Eventually, you know, they took that big step up where otherwise they probably wouldn't have. It certainly is, to me, it was a gateway into shooting sports because you didn't have all the licensing rigmarole and things like that. And, you know, it was a good way to introduce people to shooting safely on their own property. That was the big thing for me, is it was taking away this gateway into shooting sports. And I think a lot of people would probably, you know, a lot of people probably had one lying around in a cupboard or in the attic, but these are probably from like the 60s, 70s and 80s, you know, when maybe more people did have them. It's the one positive is it probably has encouraged people to go to the next level. So it's not all bad, but it was just a total farce to begin with. It's not affected crime in any way.
Right. Which, I mean, making those illegal doesn't affect crime. It just removes that as an easier accessed item to commit crime. Crime's going to happen regardless of the tool. People who are breaking laws, they aren't thinking, well, I was going to break a law today, but air guns are illegal. I guess I'll go fishing or something. And it's I don't know. The important thing here, I mean, the reason that we're talking about this, I'm sure our listeners and our viewers already understand this, is like once you've made this thing illegal, then the politicians are going to go after the next thing, and they're going to go after the next thing, and they're going to go after the next thing, and they're just going to keep going until we're completely disarmed. And whether their intention is to install a totalitarian government at that point, I don't see that far into the future, but it makes people more susceptible to oppression from the government because of the fact that you now are less armed than you were before. But I mean, as history has shown us, no government has ever been able to truly oppress people forever. Eventually, the people revolt and take it back. So anyway, that's why we're talking about that. But what I'm curious about now is, you started Firearms UK, or you are a founding member. Are you the sole founding member of Firearms UK?
There was a few others at the time, but it's primarily myself. Now, other people also moved on with life, if you know, maybe different priorities in life. So I've just tried to keep it going as best I can. I didn't
keep the
quite
alive.
Get to the level I wanted it to get to. So I think now, rather maybe hopefully, I was hoping to maybe get to a level where we could take membership and actually be a big player in lobby in Parliament. I don't think we'll be there for maybe another few years, but if we can be a resource for people, we get a lot of questions from people saying how do they get into shooting sports, or asking for advice when they're applying for their certificates, and that's something we're very happy to do. Just encourage people in any way we can.
Right. So since your founding of that group, have you seen steady growth with regard to interest in firearms and Firearms UK?
Yeah, we get a lot of questions.
Looks like we're
coming in. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Was that better? Sorry about that.
There we go.
There we go. You're back.
And you're back.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we do get a lot of emails, and it's weird. Sometimes they'll come in, maybe several at one time, over a short period. Other times it could be dribs and drabs, but it's generally we do get a lot of emails asking. It is primarily about what the laws are, how do they go about getting a certificate, and guidance. So it's really hard to say, because shooting in the UK it's very much a dirty little secret, if you like. It's not advertised. I don't know if there's restrictions on how you can advertise. Clubs they can be quite insular, and they don't actively seek new members. Not that a lot of them don't like the idea of social media and putting themselves out there. don't get me wrong, there is some clubs now that are starting to do it, and they're very popular. But the thing with our laws as well is you can't just turn up and maybe book in and shoot. There's a lot of complications. We need to be checked and book in advance, and it's a lot of hassle for people if they maybe want to try it. It's a bit more of a commitment. For example, I know you get British people going abroad to the States, and they can do shooting, just go up to ranges.
You
or
could just
even
take one
to,
of these guns here and just walk out into your yard range.
And obviously you're probably supervised, and if you look a bit dodgy, you'll probably get told no, but it's very strict. You can even go to Europe. I think Czech Republic and Poland are great examples where, you maybe show ID, leave some details, and you can book in and you can shoot and shoot pistols and semi-auto rifles, and it's great. So I have a lot of respect for the United States. I think you should do not give 1 inch in your rights. But unfortunately, because of the media in this country, they paint America to be a bad picture. And I will defend America till I'm blue in the face, but I always like to compare to European countries simply because they're great examples as well. Like you get Czech Republic, Switzerland, Poland, things like that. So it helps broaden the argument so people can't just rely on the tabloid media and their misrepresentation of the States. There's a lot to it.
Right, and depending upon where you land politically, you're going to either take the worst of the worst, which is probably most likely the case in your country with regards to gun ownership and gun deaths in our country. That you get the worst of the worst. You don't get the stories where someone defended themselves effectively in the way that it's actually intended to be used, and that's kind of sad. But it sounds to me like what you're saying is even in your own backyard, you have perfect examples of firearm ownership by a populace that doesn't have anything to do with the United States at all. I just want to let you know that we're going to be coming up on a break here in just a moment, Dave, and I'd like to learn more about what we're talking about. After the break. Sorry, I'm stalling and it's not effective. So anyway.
So guns.
Guns and stuff.
Guns are cool, man. You know what I'm saying? I do like your shirt, though. It says hashtag I am the gun. That's fantastic.
Nice.
Well, we can maybe talk about that after the break if you want.
For sure. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that for sure. Cool. Okay, we're coming up on a break. We'll be right back with you. Stay with us. This is The Gun Shop Show.
Land is everything to me. When I was born, I was brought home to the family farm, was raised, learned work ethic there, learned appreciation and respect for life and the land itself, and it just became second nature. I had to be there all the time. Whenever I wasn't on the land, I was not happy. But I learned to understand the land, learned to respect it, learned family values. My wife and I have bought a farm besides the one we live on, and it has just been a great investment, and it's been someplace that my son and I have shared the passion of hunting together, and land has been everything in my life. It has kind of kept me focused and gave me a place to be. It's kind of kept me grounded.
Hey, you know what makes this, the Gun Shop Show, possible? It's people who believe in the show. And someone who has believed in the show from the very beginning is my good friend Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply. Here's a message from Chris.
Guys, my name's Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply, and I just want to take a few seconds here to let you know that we are going to be proud sponsors of the Gun Shop Show, and we appreciate everything that them guys are doing over there, and we just want to show them our support. Thank you.
So whether you have 2 chickens or 2,000 acres, Chris is your man. Give him a call. I guess that's pretty much the ad.
Whitehead Farm Supply.
Seriously?
Always.
Hi, I'm Eli Pagginson. When I'm not fighting red flag laws, playing games, or writing, I'm listening to The Gun Shop Show.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show.
Thanks. It's good to be back.
Guess what we're doing? We're giving away $100 Liberty Tree gift card.
$100. You know what happened the last time we did that?
Crazy stuff.
139 shares. That was pretty good. It's one of the best for an episode.
I mean, those are still pretty good odds.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen. Eli's going to come back.
Mhm.
You know, we keep giving stuff away.
Yeah.
Eli's going to be like,
well, he's going to be coming back.
You guys are giving away the farm.
He's going to be coming back because his store went bankrupt.
Yeah. Next on the Gun Shop
Who
Show,
wants
we're
to win
giving
a
away
gun
the
store?
Yeah.
Anyway, to win this gift card, all you have to do is share the feed and tag 5 friends. That's it. So, Dave, during the break, we were talking about how awesome that shirt is. Hashtag I am the gun.
What's it say under the word gun? I see letters.
It's actually
Lobby.
Oh, there
okay.
we go. There we go. Hashtag I am the gun lobby. What exactly is that about?
Well, I think we actually might have spoke about Firearms United. It's a kind of sort of European. Well, the work with us is kind of European version of Firearms UK, if you like. But they were founded independently, and they do a lot of work within Europe. The headquarters is in Poland, but they've got chapters in pretty much every European country. And basically, this hashtag came about was they were trying to ban semi-automatic rifles in Europe. Again, terrorist attack happened with illegal firearms, so they go after the sporting community. So basically, the EU and the European Commission and a lot of politicians were trying to make out that the gun lobby was this well-funded bunch of extremists, that didn't care about public safety or that kind of rubbish. So we started this campaign, hashtag I am the gun lobby, and it was going along with like interviews or pictures of people, just the ordinary people that wear the gun lobby. So it's like myself, I'm an engineer, you paramedics, firefighters, policemen, civil servants, just ordinary people. And we were trying to show the gun lobby isn't this big, nefarious, well-funded group of dodgy people. It's ordinary, everyday people that just want to enjoy their sports and their rights without people stealing their property, without being subject to draconian legislation. So that's where it came from.
I like it.
Awesome.
It tears down borders. The one thing that keeps us from being able to worldwide unite against our regional government. We can still create this global community of we are pro liberty, we are pro firearm responsibility. We do exist, and I hate that everything comes down to the lowest common denominator.
It seems like the responsible law-abiding gun owner we just get a bad rap that we're out to seek out death and destruction. That's just absolutely not true. We just enjoy shooting guns. We like shooting guns. Some of us like hunting, and we just want to do that all within the framework of the law. I mean, nothing more to it, really.
Right, and sorry, go ahead, Dave.
No, I'm just agreeing with you absolutely, 100%. You're spot on.
So I think the one of the 2 videos that I saw you in, you were giving a speech at what appeared to be the Libertarian Party or a Libertarian Party get-together. I'm not sure what the event was. Sorry, I was reading real quick here. Libertarian Party Conference. I assume that you're a libertarian since you're speaking there. That true?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realise I was a libertarian until I discovered I got an invite of the party, and I thought, hang on, I'm that's kind of what I think. Just everyone should be able to do what you want, so you don't cause harm or loss. I thought, yeah, that's a pretty good moral code. I like that. So
yeah,
we get invited.
Should I assume that the Libertarian Party in the UK is quasi, if not the same as the Libertarian Party in the US?
I would say so. Yes. I don't know what connections they have, or apart from the name, I don't know if they communicate much. But it's basically ideals of personal responsibility, limited government, things like that.
What is it? The non-aggressive principle? Do you guys adhere to that?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
And for viewers, listeners, Trevor, what is the non-aggressive principle?
I'll have to look it up to give you the the exact definition, but my loose definition is basically the golden rule in some regards. You know, don't hurt other people, or do what you want to do as long as it doesn't hurt others. If I remember, but you know what, I'm going to look it up because I don't like just non-aggression principle. The concept which aggression defined as initiating or threatening any forceful interference with either an individual or their property is inherently wrong. In contrast to pacifism, the NAP does not forbid forceful defense. I don't really, I can't exactly speak to that. I don't want to spend a bunch of time looking it up. I can look it up in the break.
Yeah, fine.
I mean, it's basically do what you want as long as it doesn't cause harm to other people.
Gotcha.
That's how I
can agree with that. Yeah,
adapt to that, or I accept that. And I mean, I'm not a libertarian, so don't take me as that. But I definitely myself feel like they have a better idea with regards to a party or even politics. They're not really trying to force their beliefs on other people, and I appreciate that. Not taking government and using it as a weapon.
That's probably people like ourselves our biggest problem, is I think because we're not interested in forcing other people how to live our lives or to live by what we believe. That doesn't stop people that do want to tell us what to do, because then they want to go in and they want to seek power and become politicians so they can tell us how to live. So in many ways, being so passive and live and let live actually is a downside for us, because then we end up getting attacked by everyone else, you know.
Yeah, because we're not actively out trying to force other people to live the way we live. So they are like, well, there's a void, let's fill it and make them live the way that we live. But I mean, there has been growth, at least in the U.S., with regards to the Libertarian Party. Yeah. So I mean, I'd like to see that continue to move, at least for us. But you know, at least for you guys, some more liberty on your end would be great as well. As you guys, at least with firearms, are highly restricted overall.
Yeah,
So-
if I don't like something, I just don't do it. If I don't like you doing it, I want it banned.
Right.
You know?
Well, and you know, honestly, Alan, that our political spectrum, which is two parties, both of them do that.
Oh, I agree.
You know, both of them do it, and they do it heavily. You know, whoever's in power is trying to force the other side to do what they want to do, and vice versa. Well, the reality of life is I somewhere exist between those two things.
Yeah.
Just stop trying to make me the way you live.
Sorry, my hair's going crazy here.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, we're 3 out of 4 now, Logan. Logan just got his hair cut. He probably doesn't want to put a hat on.
I got to show this off.
He's really showing off that.
It was getting too long. It just wasn't for me.
I don't know what that is. What is that thing on your head?
Huh?
What's that thing on your head? Yeah, what is that?
Hair?
Oh.
So, Dave, how are you guys doing on getting some of those banned guns reinstated or lifted?
What exactly is banned, first off, I think would be a good question. Yeah. What firearms are banned?
Well,
all
basically, no, but we're not, it's weird. Well, self-loading rifles, or semi-auto rifles are banned. Obviously, full auto is banned. Pistols are banned, except in Northern Ireland. You can still have pistols in Northern Ireland. They're slightly different with their setup. We can still, so basically, you can get semi-automatic 2.2 rifles. You can have bolt-action rifles. We can have 50 cal rifles over here. Suppressors and moderators, they're not really restricted, although they are classed as a firearm, bizarrely, because it's like a proper bearing part. But we can have suppressors. It's not a difficult thing to get here. You know, it's basically, you can say it's for the health and to keep noise down, you know, for health and safety reasons. So it's quite sensible with that. So everything, apart from pistols and semi-auto rifles, we can pretty much have everything.
Gotcha. Suppressors are a little more difficult. Well, actually, a lot more difficult to get than typical firearms over here. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but there's a whole process. We get fingerprinted, we get our photo taken. We have to pay the government $200, and then we wait for them to approve our suppressor, and that takes anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending. Sometimes longer. It just really depends. But
that's the thing. It's quite bizarre that in the United States you have got so much more freedom in many ways, but something like a suppressor really easy to get here compared to over there.
It is strange, and I think some of it has to do with the kind of perception of suppressors that they make firearms dead quiet and you would never know where someone's shooting from, and that's just not the case. They just make it hearing safe, essentially. That's really all they do. I mean,
just dampen the sound.
Yeah, which if you've shot suppressed, there's no reason not to shoot suppressed because it's so much more pleasant, and it's good for your health to shoot with a suppressor as opposed to not.
I mean, I would say it's better for your health.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
That's what I
don't know that it like makes your hearing better. Right?
It makes your hearing better. It doesn't take away from your hearing.
You can hear a pin drop after you go out and shoot
Right.
a suppressor.
Right.
Hearing gets so.
It's what cured Helen Keller's deafness.
Yeah.
Suppressors.
Yeah.
I don't know if Helen Keller is as popular over there in Scotland as she is in the U.S.
I think I've seen the South Park one.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I was gonna say that joke kills here in the States.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't kill.
Yeah, you're probably right about that, Logan. Yeah. I probably kill the laughter with that joke.
Yeah, it's one of those jokes it's an anti-joke.
For sure. Well, we're coming up on the end of this segment. I want to learn more. We didn't get to if there's been any recovery or any loosening
let's
of
talk
regulation.
about that when we get back. If you're watching on TV, you're going to want to go to our Facebook, switch over, type in Liberty Tree Guns. You'll see us there. Okay, we'll be right back.
Cradle them out.
This is the Gun Shop Show.
People are always asking me, Eli, you seem to get the best deals on things. What is your secret?
Glory actions and estate sales.
Trevor, I appreciate you jingling, but I have to say the ad part first because people need to know about the company.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to do that.
And then also, it's covering up my face. So just get a picture like from their Facebook page because that's the best place, and then just put it right up here where the Gun Shop Show logo is. Okay.
All right. I'll do better this time.
And then and so let me finish the ad, and then you can jingle. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the best place to go is their Facebook page.
Oh, glory actions and estate sales.
You know what? Fine. I'll just move in between the graphics and finish telling people that the best place to find out when old
glory actions and estate sales. I think I got it that time, man.
Our member's girlfriend is on her way to pick up her kids from her ex-husband's house. She asked our member to tag along because of her ex's temper. As they arrive at the home, her ex emerges yelling and gesturing. He approaches his ex-wife and grabs her, attempting to drag her inside. Fearing for her life, our member, a trained CHL holder, jumps out of the car with his gun drawn and demands the ex-husband release her. Seeing the gun, the assailant retreats. The situation then takes a bizarre turn as the assailant dials 911 to report our member. As a result of the aggressor's lies, our member was wrongfully arrested. Our member had to undergo lengthy legal proceedings. However, he was ultimately cleared of all charges.
Buckle up, because belts just got better. With Core Essentials, the perfect fit every time. With 40 plus sizing positions. Styles for any situation. Whether in the boardroom, crushing sales and taking names, on your next adventure, in the great outdoors, or when you're done for the day and ready to relax. Get your perfect fit with Core Essentials.
Hey everyone, the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by Carthage Lock and Key. If you need anything to do with a lock or a key
to success.
Did they tell you to say that?
No, I just thought it sounded good.
They have a mobile service, so they can come to you and cut pretty much any kind of key
to success.
Or if you lock your keys in your
to
car.
Success.
I'm talking even security modern chip keys.
To success.
Trevor, could you just jingle the name of the business?
Okay. Yeah, I'll do it good this time.
So, with all of my properties and all of the needs I have, I trust
Carthage Lock and Key to success.
The Gun Shop Show costs money to make, and the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by pecans and cheese. Not really. Actually, we didn't have any sponsors for this segment, and so I decided that I would take a snack break, and also I decided if you guys are tired of listening to me eat cheese and nuts, that you need to buy an ad. So from now on, if our ad sponsorships don't sell out, you're going to have to listen to me eat nuts and cheese. In order to sponsor the Gun Shop Show, send us an email at thegunshopshow@gmail.com.
Next week, chips.
Hey there, we got your lab results back. It looks like you have a fever, and the only prescription is more Gun Shop Show.
The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. What is it? We don't know. The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. Here we go, it's the Gun Shop Show.
Back over here, we're back.
Well, welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. We're giving away this little thingy right here.
What is that? Some plastic?
A $100 gift card to Liberty Tree Guns.
Is that a charge card with an unlimited balance on it?
Unfortunately, no, it's not. It's a $100 gift card to Liberty Tree Guns.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you get entered in to win that is you're going to share the feed and you're going to tag 5 friends.
Yeah, go ahead and throw
and
a
if
thumbs
you don't
up on
have any
there,
friends,
too.
tag Trevor 5 times.
Yeah, tag me 5 times.
That's it. That's simple.
You know, it dawned on me, Logan, whenever we were doing that introduction, doing the full intro there, that the primary individual in that introduction isn't here. Our guest may not even realize that we actually have a whole nother host. And his name is Eli Brutner, and he's the owner of the gun store, and he's not with us today. So.
Yeah, I'm just the fill-in host.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely terrible.
Yeah, right. And we talked about that pretty heavily before we came back, is how bad Logan is. But he's getting better.
He is getting
He is getting better.
Barely. Barely. Small steps.
Yeah, baby steps. Baby steps by baby legs.
Kind of like in the UK. Small steps to get your gun rights back.
For sure. I mean, we've been doing it here in the U.S. We've several states have now passed what we call constitutional carry. And
Texas is the latest one.
Yes, they also Texas also, and I'm going to say in the face of the federal government, have made silencers. Correct me if I'm wrong, Logan, but within the state of Texas, if the silencer is made in Texas, that they don't have to jump through all of the federal hoops to get that, but they cannot leave the state of Texas.
I think you're right on track. From what I've read, the suppressor has to be made in Texas. It has to be stamped made in Texas, and it has to stay in Texas for you to be allowed to own it. And that comes with no tax stamp, no letter to the ATF to approve or anything like that. So it's significantly easier to get a suppressor.
A little more of that taste of freedom that we love over here. So that harkens the question, Dave. In your time as a part of Firearms UK, or just in your time as being a firearms enthusiast or advocate, have you seen any restrictions on firearms repealed?
I've got to be honest, guys, you're making me want to cry now, the fact you guys have had some success.
Don't cry, Dave. Don't cry.
Very, very.
We'll hold you. We'll hold you. Long distance hug.
Trevor has a shoulder for you to cry on.
Right.
It's constantly wet. It's from all the crying, man.
Okay.
It's my crying shoulder.
I was
It's like the weeping willow. This is my crying shoulder.
Oh, man. Well, there's been there's one small improvement I can think of off the top of my head, and I was trying over the break to make a list, and this is the only thing I could think of. It was with regards to taking people shooting on a permission, where you've maybe got permission to hunt or do pest control. It's been made easier for, as my understanding goes, to allow someone else to take a shot. So if you've got the permission, you can take someone with you and let them shoot.
Okay.
What I understand, whereas before that was illegal. So, again, another stupid law, but I think that's been clarified. That's probably the only thing I can really think of, and that was a few years ago. There's been some minor changes to ammunition. It used to be expanded ammunition was you had to have special sort of conditions on your certificate. That's changed again, so but nothing really amazing, unfortunately. I'm hoping that just with the work we are doing, if we can increase numbers, we can change. But it's just the sad reality is you guys have got a lot of people that shoot and that are willing to stand up for your freedoms over here.
Right.
It's not like that at all. And you even get some shooters. We've had a hassle from some shooters because we've tried to rock the boat, and we're saying stand up and be counted. Nothing extreme. Just use your vote, lobby. Nothing crazy.
Yeah,
and,
diplomacy.
It's like people. Yeah, like I mean, it's so restrictive being a firearm certificate holder that you can't advocate anything crazy, but you get people that they're so scared of losing their firearm certificate. They think if they speak up and say, "I want handguns back" or something like that, that they'll lose their firearm. Like, you won't.
Right.
And if you do, you can fight that. That's nonsense. Don't be afraid. We need to speak out because no one else is going to do it. But to answer your question, a few minor things that is probably we can't take any credit for. That's been other shooting organisations that have done great work getting those changes. In the future, I don't think we'll get handguns back anytime soon. I think you'd need to see a major change in the political mindset of the public. But we could possibly get maybe longer certificate lengths and maybe some changes as to how easy it is to get a firearm certificate. But really, I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go.
Dave, for our viewers and listeners, let us know how you get a firearm certificate.
Yeah. Well, we're basically divided into two licenses or certificates, use the correct term. Shotgun certificates cover like single shot, double barrel, and semi-auto pump action shotguns with a 2+1 capacity, no greater. So 2 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. That's, in a way, you could call that a shall issue. That's a right, if you like. The police need to find a reason to refuse you to get a shotgun certificate. You don't need to be a member of a club. You don't need to have land to shoot on. You can apply for it, and as long as you've got no criminal record, it should be granted. Firearm certificates are a bit harder. They're not terrible. If we could have our handguns and semi-auto rifles back, that system would probably be fairly decent for the UK. I wouldn't advocate it for the US, but for us, it's not the worst. But basically, for a firearm certificate, you need to be a member of a gun club, or you need to have permission to shoot on land for either hunting or pest control. You need to justify every firearm. So with a shotgun, you get your certificate. You can buy as many as you can safely store. With a firearm certificate, every firearm needs to be justified. There's restrictions on the amount of ammunition you can possess. With shotguns, there's none of that, shotgun ammunition. But with firearms, so you'd need to justify a 2.2 semi-automatic, a 2.2 bolt action, a 2.23. You might have a 2.23 for hunting, and then you might have justify a different 2.23 or 5.56 for target shooting. Everything needs to be justified, and these conditions are put on certificates. It's probably quite hard to get your head around. See, from maybe an American perspective, where your certificate's conditioned, they're very strict with terms of use for your property, and things like that. But yeah, it's not terrible to get. If you're a member of a club, you can apply and get a lot of different firearms, but it's maybe not as free as I would personally like to see it.
Right. And we met with Callum. I'm sure you know who Callum Long Collins is. You kind of came into our purview as a he referred Mike Lindsay, and then Mike Lindsay referred you. So I feel like we've kind of we've hit all of the UK at this point with regards to this stuff. So he kind of broke down to us what that means, and he also told us about how just being outspoken about wanting or the desire to have more firearm liberties had affected him, and the local authorities took away his guns or his right to have firearms as a result of having an opinion. Okay. He just said things and had an opinion. He wasn't saying go out and shoot up your local school or shoot up your, none of that. Just had an opinion, and that was taken away from him. So again, underscores the importance of our First Amendment rights, which is the right to free speech and not to be censored by either the government. Well, I'd say the government more than a private company myself, but the government period, which is what's happening with you all. Your fear of saying anything for repercussion from your government. And I mean, that's a whole nother battle that I'm sure you're fighting.
It's absolutely shocking what happened to Callum, in my opinion. Disgraceful. But it's not going to put me off. I mean, I don't think I say anything extreme like to back up what I say with facts and figures. I think I'm quite rational.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, if you don't speak up now, well, in 20 years, I probably won't have any guns anyway because they'll all be banned. So I might as well speak up so I can always say I did my best.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, somebody has to, and if it's going to be you, then it's going to be you. What's hard is to start the fire, to light the fire and get other people to start doing it with you and changing your government. And one of the best ways to do that, in my opinion, is grassroots. You know, person to person, make friends, you know, show people that there's nothing to fear. You don't have to fear guns, you know. Irresponsibility is the only thing that you really have to fear with regards to guns. Like, I mean, if someone who just can't get their life together is owning guns, that might be cause for concern, but certainly no reason for the government to come in and restrict the rights of, you know, 1,000 people because one guy, or 2,000 people because one guy, or whatever the ratio is, which is it's a phenomenal ratio at this point. So something that I was curious about, and man, we're going to run out of time, but I'll pose the question is, you mentioned something about being able, one of the things that had been, the restriction had been removed on was being able to go shoot with another licensed individual for the sake of pest control. Is that correct? Okay. Well, I don't want to get too far into that before we go to the break, but I'm just going to say this. If anyone over there hasn't started a business taking people out to shoot so that you can grow that through grassroots, might be a really good opportunity for someone to, if they can, if not just doing it as a public service, doing it for, you know, money reasons, take people out who've never shot and shoot with them and work with them side by side, and you'll change hearts and minds much faster than you will screaming at the top of your lungs. Logan, you want to carry us out on this?
Sure, I'll go ahead and
cradle us out, going a little bit of a break.
Please stay with us. We're going to be right back on
The Gun Shop Show.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, I got your back.
I was hoping someone was going to get my back.
Hey, podcast listeners and live stream viewers. I wanted to let you know that the Gun Shop Show is made possible by our friends at Mid-America RV. Being in the customer service industry, I have a really high standard for how customers are treated. Mid-America RV does it right. I've got my RV through their dealership, and I've taken it all over the country. We made it to South Padre Island. We've gone to Colorado several times. And if you've ever owned an RV, you know there's a lot that comes with it. So who you get it from matters, and it's extremely important that you have support after the sale. They're located just outside of Carthage. They have a really vast inventory, and they are home of, I believe they call it a forever warranty. So I urge you, if you're in the market for one, to check them out. It's a really fun and can be very affordable way to get your trips in. So visit them at midamericarv.com. We appreciate their support of the Gun Shop Show. If you're in the market for a travel trailer or fifth wheel, check out Mid-America RV.
Talk about it. What? Yeah. Here we go. 44,000 business cards. I said 44,000 business cards. I said 44,000 business cards. I said 44. I mean, crap. 44,000.
Hey everybody, Eli here, and I'm really excited to tell you that the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by one of my favorite places on earth. Located here in my hometown of Carthage on the beautiful historic square, the Emporium on the square, and the Woodshed. It's a art gallery, an event center, a gift shop. They have art classes, and there's very unique Americana artwork from famous artists like Andy Thomas. They handle a lot of his originals. Framing just has this incredible old school vibe, and you can feel the history coming through. Have to check out the art gallery, but then as you work your way to the back, my favorite part, the Woodshed. Had a lot of great meals in here. They've got burgers. I love their catfish. Excellent. Chicken and waffles even. It's incredible. And it's also a music venue, so we got to see my favorite band of all time, the Ben Miller Band. Ceiling was literally raining down. They were rocking so hard. But the best thing, owned by one of my favorite people on earth, that's Cherry Babcock. Check out the Emporium on the Square and the Woodshed.
Listen here, Pilgrim. This here is the Gun Shop Show.
People are always...
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
How's it going?
I like to play the part of the audience when you come back and you're talking to the audience.
Cool.
For some reason, I just remember Baby Logan to be like, I pooped.
Yeah, that was
Remember that?
Baby Logan.
Yeah.
Via Trevor.
Baby Gun reviews.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to tell you guys, if you want to win this gift card, all you have to do is share the feed and tag 5 friends. This is $100 gift card to Liberty Tree Guns. And while I'm at it, before we forget, we need to announce the winner of last week's giveaway.
Yeah, lots
for
of shares on this.
$100 gift
Thanks
card.
to everybody for doing that.
We really appreciate that.
Start the drum roll.
Start the drum roll. Okay, the winner of the $100 gift card to Liberty Tree Guns is Kelby Endicott. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just stop by or send us a message. We'll get you that gift card.
I have to say, I don't think I remember seeing... I'm in every show. I don't know if everybody knows that, but I am in every show commenting it up like a fever. So I see all the people commenting, you know.
Cool.
And I don't think I've ever seen Kelby in there. So, hey, if this is your first time, thanks for joining us, and have fun spending that $100 of Logan's money. I don't know if you remember that. You said it was your own personal cash.
Oh, I did say that. That stinks a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Gonna need a raise.
We've been talking to Dave about a couple of things in the break, and one of those was, my genius idea of taking people out shooting, becoming a millionaire, and then retiring. And then what else? What were you talking about, Logan? You were talking to him about something else too.
Yeah, Dave. I was just curious on how people in the UK, Scotland specifically, defend themselves or go about preparing to defend themselves, just in case something were to happen. Someone was break into your home or assault you on the street. Are you allowed to prepare to defend yourself?
No, you can defend yourself with whatever you deem appropriate in the heat of the moment, but you're not allowed to take any preemptive measures of self-defense. So, for example, got a pen here. Now, if I had a pen in my pocket and I got attacked and I went like that and jabbed someone, you'd be probably, it was heat of the moment, I grabbed the pen. But if I took this pen out with me with the premeditated intent that I'm going to use this to defend myself, it becomes an offensive weapon, which is considered quite a serious offense.
That's insane, man.
Well, after seeing what a pencil can do in John Wick, I can understand.
While that's true, and I'm all for peaceful resolution, but I also believe in situational awareness. Where I'm at, what I have, if someone attacks me, what am I going to do? And it sounds to me like in Scotland or the UK, I would have committed a thought crime. I don't know if anybody knows what 1984 is, but that's a thing in that book. I mean, just thinking and you've committed a crime.
That's almost like Minority Report in a way.
I mean, all it does is just make people stop being open about it. You're doing it anyway. It's a human nature to survive. You're going to be thinking about your survival, and one of those things is defending yourself against attacks. It is like, whether it's just running away, I mean, that's your tactic, whatever. I mean, for me, like, it's anything that I would have to do to survive. And I'm sure that you guys do too over there. You just don't talk about it. No one's going to be like, yeah, see this pin here? It writes really well, but it's also an excellent stabbing device too.
I've probably just screwed myself over here, because if I'm out in the street and I happen to jab someone with a pen to defend myself, some good solicitor or lawyer will look back and say, look, he's mentioned that's him premeditated it when,
See, that sounds ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Scotland authorities and representatives, you gone too far.
How does the Scotland law enforcement feel about any of these laws?
I think when you talk to a lot of police, I mean, I'm a good guy, so I don't really have much dealings with the police. But sometimes you may be talking on a lot of forums or Facebook and things like that. There's a lot of police seem to think that no one should be allowed to carry, and their fear seems to be it'll be used against them. And my point is, well, I don't really care. I mean, I don't want anything to happen to them, obviously, but you've got your batons and your pepper sprays and your body armour. The ordinary citizen doesn't have that. So, we're meant to be just fine with being defenceless, but it seems maybe if we say we want a pepper spray, you're worried it'll get used against you. Well, sorry, mate, that's just not fair.
Certainly not.
I think a lot of them are against it.
I mean, we had a similar thing happen when we wanted to do concealed carry. The law enforcement was worried that if everyone was carrying firearms concealed, that they would be used against them.
It was the Fraternal Order of Police in the state of Missouri was actively
opposed
to
it,
and now it's just any other day.
Yeah,
it's normalized.
Obviously they were wrong, but I can see them being fearful of it.
Right. Well, it's easy to fear the unknown. That's the easiest thing to fear is anything that could happen, because guess what? Anything that could happen in your mind has happened. That's why you're afraid of it.
And if you're outside of the firearms community and you think you equate firearms with violence, more firearms should equal more violence. So I can see their point of view, but
only from the hypothetical, I'm sure. Not you don't believe that stuff.
No, not even a little bit.
Well, and stop and look at the media. The media draws a lot more attention when a law enforcement officer shoots someone than when someone shoots a law enforcement officer.
I mean, that is true. I do think, though, that, I don't want to live in a world where police being unnecessarily violent towards citizens is tucked away and not brought out into the forefront. And I think the availability of cell phone cameras has just made it to where we're seeing a lot more of that. And you're right, Alan, the media, they hop on that stuff and they really harp on it and they talk about it a lot. And they're doing the same thing with guns. Like they're trying to make people more sympathetic towards whatever that thing is. But at the same time, like I don't want to live in a world where that's never on TV. And in our country, unfortunately, you can turn on 2 different news channels and one will be only talking about this thing and the other one's not mentioning it at all, and vice versa. There's no equality with regards to media, which just means it's mostly trash.
Yeah.
It's just stuff. It's nothing different than the National Enquirer. It's just trying to incite fear and violence.
And to expand on your point, Trevor, while I want to make sure that we're seeing stuff that we should be seeing as far as law enforcement is concerned. The one thing we're not seeing, and it's because it just doesn't sell, is traffic stops or whatever law enforcement doing their job correctly.
Right.
We don't see that ever. It's not talked about.
No.
Until something wrong happens.
Right. Yeah. It's the worst of the worst represents everything. And that's not the way
that becomes a narrative
operate.
For whichever side wants to use it for their gain.
Exactly. I know that not all police are bad. I know that not all police have the intention of doing harm. But there are some that do.
Yeah, and it sounds like this is just human nature, right?
It is.
I mean, in Scotland, someone gets shot with an air rifle, and then let's ban all air rifles.
Yeah.
In the U.S., a law enforcement officer does something absolutely terrible, and now all law enforcement is terrible, and we should defund them.
It's all knee-jerk reaction. This bad thing happened, so let's make it illegal. This bad thing happened, so let's make it illegal. And we just keep doing that. We keep going through that over and over and over and over again to the point to where you get to where you can't even say, I think people should be able to defend themselves without repercussion and your guns taken away from you, et cetera, et cetera.
Hey, I wonder if I attacked someone or defended myself with a pen, would U.S. Law Shield defend me?
I would think so.
If you did it lawfully, absolutely.
Yeah. A true self-defense situation.
Yeah.
We're coming up on a break, Dave. Sorry we chatted over the top of you the whole time. We have a tendency to do
about
that.
some of this stuff, but stay with us. We'll be right back. We'll talk about more stuff in Scotland on the Gun Shop Show.
should do that in like a 3-part.
People are always asking me, Eli, you seem to get the best deals on things. What is your secret?
Glory actions and estate sales.
Trevor, I appreciate you jingling, but I have to say the ad part first because people need to know about the company.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to do it.
And then also, it's it's covering up my face. So just get a picture like from their Facebook page because that's the best place. And then just put it right up here where the Gun Shop Show logo is. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll do better this time.
And so let me finish the ad and then you can jingle. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the best place to go is their Facebook page.
Oh, glory actions and estate sales.
You know what? Fine. I'll just move in between the graphics and finish telling people that the best place to
land is everything to me. When I was born, I was brought home to the family farm, was raised, learned work ethic there, learned appreciation and respect for life and the land itself, and it just became second nature. I had to be there all the time. Whenever I wasn't on the land, I was not happy. But I learned to understand the land, learned to respect it, learned family values. My wife and I have bought a farm besides the one we live on, and it has just been a great investment, and it's been someplace that my son and I have shared the passion of hunting together, and land has been everything in my life. It has kind of kept me focused and gave me a place to be. It's kind of kept me grounded.
Hey, you know what makes this, the Gun Shop Show, possible? It's people who believe in the show. And someone who has believed in the show from the very beginning is my good friend Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply. Here's a message from Chris.
Guys, my name's Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply, and I just want to take a few seconds here to let you know that we are going to be proud sponsors of the Gun Shop Show, and we appreciate everything that them guys are doing over there, and we just want to show them our support. Thank you.
So whether you have 2 chickens or 2,000 acres, Chris is your man. Give him a call. I guess that's pretty much the ad.
Whitehead Farm Supply.
Seriously?
Always.
I'm Lulu, and I watch the Gun Shop Show because all the fellers are handsome.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. We're giving away a $100 Liberty Tree gift card.
Did you say $100 million?
No, just $100.
I
Maybe
misheard.
next week we would try that out.
Maybe.
But for this week, we're going to do $100 Liberty Tree gift card. All you have to do is share the feed and tag 5 friends. That gets you entered in for a chance to win. We really appreciate it. While you're doing that, you might as well go ahead and like this video.
Yeah,
I'd really
what's
appreciate
wrong
that. Would
with
help us
that?
out with Facebook's algorithms and whatnot.
Yeah, they're really
Here's
suppressing us right now.
They are. They don't like our content.
And
I think it has to do with my face.
The messed up thing about the whole ordeal is, well, a couple of them. One of them is we're being suppressed for content that we're doing within the guidelines of Facebook. Like we are adhering to their rules, and yet we're still in violation.
But also, we love Facebook, and they're the best.
Yeah, they're. I for one welcome our overlords. And appreciate their suppression.
Hey, Logan.
Yeah.
There's probably maybe a few guns that you couldn't put on layaway if you won that $100. I mean,
very few.
Pretty much every gun in the shop.
Most guns in the shop, you could put this on layaway for $100 with this gift card right here by sharing and tagging 5 friends.
So hey, man, that's a good deal.
Heck yeah, man.
Heck, we have some guns that are about $100.
Yeah.
Your Altor is about $119.
Yeah.
And that barely classifies as a firearm, but hey, here we are. It is a firearm.
Barely.
I own 2, and they're unique. But back to our guest, Dave. I had a question for you on, and specifically the Firearms UK, and how you advocate for gun rights and get people to join the Firearms UK.
Well, we've got a few clubs that'll maybe email us, and we'll do an article. And we'll try and go to maybe visit their grounds or their range, and just do a publicity piece for them. So that it's hopefully going to go out to people that then can then say, oh, that's close by me. And then we'll get a lot of people actually contacting us to then pass on the details of the club. So that's one thing, just really sharing publicity for clubs that want to recruit new members. When a lot of the times as well, when there's maybe articles in the media or things like that, I'll be sitting, nothing better to do, I'll be on Twitter or something like that, and I'll respond to them on that, and you can get quite a bit of engagement. You'll get some people that are, usually don't know what they're talking about, but they're very opinionated. But you'll get some people that maybe agree with what we're saying, or that they're interested, say, well, that makes sense, and they'll look into it more, and they hopefully visit our page and then get more information, and then they'll go and maybe try and find clubs themselves. It's just about...
Where's that page at? If people wanted to find you, what was that page?
Well, we've got firearmsuk.org, which is our main website, but it's been it's not dormant, but it's just that I don't do a lot of articles on it unless I've been to a ground or there's something happening. I tend to be most active on like Facebook or Twitter, things like that, where I can try and engage with people and get people, so then they hopefully go to our page or something like that and get more information on the laws of this country. And if they're interested in shooting, they may be like, well, I can do this. So that's the main goals, really.
Yeah. How many people, what percentage of people in Scotland would you say own firearm certificates?
Oh, I'd need to look up the certificates. I think roughly UK-wide, there's about 1% of the population have shotgun and firearm certificates. So it's really not many. But I've done a bit of maths one day, and if we could double the number every year, within 5 years, you'd be about 40% of the population. Don't think we'd get that much, but I certainly think if we all worked hard, we could increase the percentage a fair amount, that in certain constituencies that we could maybe change the results of elections. And that's ultimately one of our goals, is just to have that influence to be able to, even if we don't win a pro-gun candidate, if you like, that we can cost someone their seat unless they start supporting us. And that's certainly doable within the next few years with a bit of effort.
Awesome. I had a question, but I just completely forgot it.
It's okay. So how do you guys go about lobbying the government if you do?
Well, we had one of our sort of our biggest, I can't even call it a success story, but one of our biggest efforts was to try and get 2.2 pistols back on the Section 1 Firearm Certificate, so for target shooting and things like that. We liaised with some of the bigger, more experienced shooting organisations. We got their buy-in. They gave us some advice on how to word it, and they were happy to support it if they weren't directly responsible for it, if you know what I mean. So we had pretty much every shooting organisation backing it. Some of the ones that should have really been pushing it were a bit lackluster, but they eventually got on board, and it only got, I think it was 22,000 signatures, but which is disappointing, but it was 10,000 more than the last attempt at it. So we got a response from the government, the usual waffle, but it showed me that there's a lot of work to be done within the shooting community to get people engaged and to get them interested, because a lot of people were just saying, oh, I'm not interested in pistols, it's nothing to do with me, and that's just not the attitude. We actually had some people attacking us, going out against us. People within the shooting community were actually attacking us.
Within the shooting community?
Yeah, people within the shooting community. I won't name names. I don't think they were particularly important, but they were attacking us, and it was so pathetic. It was as if it was out of jealousy and nothing else. So, like, they wanted to be the be-all and end-all of shooting, and like, we're not doing it for our own personal gain. I mean, we don't get money out of this. We've put money into it, For me, it's about trying to protect and promote shooting, and you're just like, why are you people trying to destroy us and make up lies? It was ridiculous. And they're on the forum.
So even within the shooting community, you guys were experiencing pushback, huh?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how much of that do you think has to do with fear of repercussion from the government, of putting your name on paper and saying that I want more freedom? Do you think, or have you even heard anybody mention that they don't want to take part in that for fear of having their certificate revoked for being outspoken, just putting their name on a piece of paper?
I've seen some people say that, and then that's quite rare. But what I have seen is you seem to get some people that just, and it's quite funny, some of them seem to be ex-military. So I think they think they've got some kind of brand authority. And I know guys that are ex-military that are very pro-gun. So my suspicion is these people been in the military, but they probably didn't do anything very exciting. So they're trying to big themselves up as if they know, if they're this voice of great experience. You got a lot of military people saying, "Oh, you don't need handguns." I do deer stalking. That's all you need is bolt action rifles. It's just so divided and it's pathetic. If you're not interested in something, don't do it.
Right.
But don't stop other people's effort to try and get something back. From the most selfish point of view is, if we get handguns back, that's a buffer for your firearms getting restricted because they'll go for them first. The community is so fragmented and self-destructive in many ways. That's why it's such an uphill battle.
Yeah, we see kind of similar stuff here in the States with AR-15s and AK-47s, any semi-auto rifle of a larger caliber. There's some gun owners that are like, "Why would you need that? You can't hunt with those," and that's just not the case. And I feel like it comes from a place of just complete ignorance.
Well, it is.
And
I mean,
a lack of knowledge on just firearms.
Say, why do you need those? Because they can't fathom why someone would need those. All of a sudden, it's like, well, why do you need those? Let's just go ahead and make them illegal.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and make all these people criminals that own this thing that aren't causing any harm, like pistol braces. They want to make those illegal. And all these people own pistol braces because someone thinks somewhere that it's going to be more harmful for people to have them than it is. And now all these people are affected by that.
One of my favorite sayings is, it's the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Needs.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're born with these rights, not given them by our government.
Right.
Unfortunately. Do you have any, we're going to be closing out on the segment here, but real quick, do you have any advocates in your country to give you more freedom with regard to freedom of speech?
Yeah, I think there's a few people. I think one guy, I think it's Lawrence Fox, I think. I've seen him on Twitter. I think he's very much an advocate of freedom of speech. I think he's an actor. There is, I'm always on Twitter just doing things like that. And I think there's a few people. I couldn't think any off the top of my head.
Well, Dave, we're coming up on the end of this segment, and we'll be back just after this break.
Cool. Is this segment 7?
This is the end of the second and 7th segment.
Oh,
yes.
snap. One more segment to go on the Gun Shop Show.
We all know that you are more than within your right to shoot an intruder that is in your home. However, what if you do everything right and once the smoke clears, the situation is not quite as it seemed? Well, that is exactly what happened to fellow member Isabella in this story.
So I just put my house on the market because I wasn't living in a good neighborhood and my home had been broken into before. One night, my realtor called and asked to show my home at 6:30. I thought, yeah, this is perfect. I'll go to the gym. When I got home around 8:15, I set the alarm and jumped in the shower. About 5 minutes later, the alarm went off. I rushed out of the shower to grab my gun. As I turned the corner, a man was standing near my front door in all black. I repeatedly yelled at him, "Leave or I'll shoot." Out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone else dart in front of him. He turned towards me, so I shot. Suddenly, I realized the second person was my realtor.
The truth is, you never know how events will unfold. Isabella was not criminally charged, but shortly after she faced a civil lawsuit. With the help of U.S. Law Shield, Isabella was advised through the whole legal process and paid 0 attorney's fees. Remember, criminals never take a vacation. Be armed, stay educated, and get protected with U.S. Law Shield.
The Gun Shop Show, brought to you by Little Old Ladies. They're little, and they're old. They're little old ladies.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show.
Thank you.
Hey, if you want to win this gift card, $100 gift card to Liberty Tree Guns, you can spend on anything in the store, whatever you want. You can put it $1,000 gun on layaway. Super simple. All you have to do is share the feed and tag 5 friends.
I'm pretty sure that'll also buy 2 hugs from Logan.
2 hugs and 1 hug from the back.
Oh, well, for me, that'll get you 1 hug. Down payment on a hug from Alan.
Hugs, honestly,
I'm not
overrated.
that cheap. I'm not giving $100 hugs.
Alan does have the best hugs.
He's government.
Yeah. No $100 hugs from.
But during the break, Dave, we were talking about taking people shooting. Have you taken anybody shooting? Have you taken anyone shooting? And how do they react to shooting for the first time?
Well, I've taken maybe 20, 30 people shooting now at least. Clay pigeon shooting is probably the easiest way to do it. Everyone that I've taken, they've maybe been a little bit nervous, some of them, but they all walk away afterwards with a huge smile on their face. They absolutely love it. And, I think that's the thing. People don't realise you can shoot here. And they maybe think, it's only professional, like pest controllers and what have you, and sports people can have firearms. So when they find out, that guy that I work with can shoot, and they get to go and experience it, and they love it. And it's the only difficult thing is getting people to go through the process of actually applying and getting the certificates, because it's enjoyable as a hobby, but they don't want to do it all the time. That's it.
I understand that. I don't even want to go get my car tagged, and I have to do it every year, let alone go lobby my government for the right to shoot a firearm. I wouldn't want to do that either.
Although I think if I lived in Scotland, I'd be looking for Dave and saying, "Hey, buddy,
don't just
remember me?
Skirt off of someone else.
Remember when we went out shooting last time?
It was so much fun.
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'll buy lunch. Hey, by the way, after we eat lunch, can we go shooting again?
Right.
We experienced something similar here in the States with suppressors. I've taken some people shooting. I have a couple of suppressors with suppressors for the first time that I haven't shot suppressors, and they're absolutely blown away. And they're like, how can I get one? And I tell them the process, and they're like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
it's just too much work.
They'll just hit you up.
Yeah. So I feel you on that. But I did have a question, completely off topic.
What's your favorite band, and then why is it you two? I'm just kidding.
No, it wasn't that. But it's because I really like your accent, and I wanted to know how we sounded to you.
You can be.
I'm probably quite used to maybe US accents just from television and stuff. I couldn't. I mean, maybe an American citizen could tell you exactly where you're from. To me, it's just kind of an American accent. But
that's a great one of those hick accents.
Well, we could really lean into the hick. We get a lot of practice around here, but I'd like to think we're pretty non-regional. All of us here.
No, it's
our accents wise. Yeah, I would say so too.
I mean, you'd be able to tell if we were like from Brooklyn or Boston or something.
I mean, if I just wasn't seeing Trevor, if I was just hearing Trevor, I would be like, man, that sounds like
Celine Dion,
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. I don't know whether to be offended or heavily offended.
That guy must. That his voice sounds really sexy.
I've always been told I don't sound like Steven Seagal, but I roundhouse kick like Chuck Norris.
Oh, there we go.
No, I've heard you've been roundhoused by Chuck Norris. It's completely different.
Where do you think I learned it from?
Fair enough.
So, what were we talking about before we got rid of? Oh, accents. Yeah, you were going to insult our guest.
No, I love your accent. I think it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite accents.
I was kind of hoping you show me what your Scottish accent sounds like.
What our Scottish accent
I don't
sound
have
like?
a Scottish accent.
I
can't do accents.
I actually have Scottish in my heritage.
Go ahead, give us your accent.
Only matters to Americans. But
go ahead, appropriate.
What is it? The janitor from The Simpsons, Willie. He's the only reference that I have, and I did it already, man.
I want to hear it again.
My name. I can't do it on demand, dude.
Come on, man.
It's like documents. I can't.
Do you have
can't slide into a Scottish accent.
Do
you have one?
I don't know that I can do a Scottish accent. I
can't do any accents.
I have enough trouble speaking English.
Well, Scottish speak English too.
Well, I know, but trying to speak
English
English,
is the
with
worst.
a different accent, I don't do very good.
What really shocks me about the UK or even Europe in general is how close those countries are, just like our states.
Yeah.
But you go over a border and someone has a completely different accent or a completely different language. Like you go between Spain and France and UK, and there's 3 different languages. I mean, of course, they're all Latin based, but still completely different languages. It's really surprising. I mean, how many languages do you know, Dave?
I can speak a little bit of German, but when I go to Germany and I speak German, they'll think I'm Polish or something like that. I've got some kind of, I don't know if my Scottish accent sounds Polish when I speak German. It's weird, but I'm trying to talk really slowly and clearly right now. If you see me in the pub on a Friday night after a few beers, I'd be talking a bit faster. You probably wouldn't understand me.
I do the same thing, man.
Me too.
Logan, when I first met him, he talked so fast, he would take a sentence and turn it into 2 words. That's how fast he talked.
It was bad.
It was really fast.
I didn't even understand what I was saying at the time.
When I go out of town, I can break into redneck.
Uh-oh.
Can you?
Oh, y'all.
I found,
Yeah.
and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, I change how I talk depending on who I'm talking to.
Like how? Like if you met someone from Brooklyn, like, hey, how you doing? Like that?
I don't know why I do it. It's
doing?
just, I don't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It just comes out.
Well, I think the more time you spend around other folks who speak a little different, you kind of adapt yourself. You know, who was it? Madonna moved to, I think, London, and now she's got a British accent. And like, lady,
whatever.
you grew up in like New York or something. You're not even anywhere close to that place, and now she's got a British accent. I mean, it's happened to me too, man. When I was in the military, I was with a bunch of guys who were from the South, so I started speaking like I was from the South. It's just, it's pretty natural.
Hey, Dave, give us your American accent.
There you go.
Yeah.
Spot on right there.
I guess I don't know how to say it, man.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's exactly what we sound like.
Yeah.
You got to throw in a lot of uhs and mans.
Or bro.
Well, that one's really taken off. And it's a funny thing is like it took off out of a joke. Like people were saying it as a joke to make fun of guys who said bro. And now it's like replaced man.
It was like, what movie was that? The Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg that learned to dance to make fun of people that dance.
Oh, yeah. He became an excellent dancer just to mock people who were into dancing. Oh, man. When's the last time we had a desk pop?
Never, because we practice responsible gun
Right
ownership.
on. I was just making Groundskeeper Willie. That's the guy I was thinking of. It's killing me, man. I kept wanting to say janitor. Anyway, that's the closest thing I have to my Scottish, other than the blood that flows within me.
I'm terrible with accents. Just completely terrible.
It's okay. Let's talk to Dave about guns.
I like guns. Guns is cool.
Oh, man. So you are friends with Mike Lindsay. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And do you guys actively advocate together at all?
Yeah, we've been like we've been like some shooting shows together. We've spoke there. Callum and some other people have been there as well. Mike runs his own site as well. Obviously, the Owners' Rights Cooperative. So we try and support each other.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mike's probably got a luxury in Northern Ireland you can carry for self-defence within certain circumstances. So he's probably got a bit more liberty there to talk about it because it is a thing there. But yeah, Mike's a good guy. So I quite like working with him and stuff. Yeah, he's a really good speaker, I find, as well.
Yeah, he was a great guest. Callum was a great guest. We enjoyed talking to them and getting their perspective on, just the experience of being a firearm owner in their respective countries.
Yeah.
And you as well.
And being in the U.S., man, we unfortunately, we're completely oblivious to what happens outside the U.S. for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really intentional.
No, it's not.
But there is a thing, I don't know that it's got a name, but I'll call it the American syndrome, where if you go on the internet, especially on Reddit, you assume that everyone there is American if you're American, and you just say things that are, oblivious to the fact that there's people outside of our culture. But Dave, we are about 2 minutes out, and we would love it if you could let our viewers and listeners know where they can find and follow you and your organization online.
Sure. Well, we've got firearmsuk.org, which is our website. You'll maybe find some interesting articles there. We're probably most active on Facebook. We've got Twitter, Instagram as well, things like that. Just Firearms UK. If anyone wants to ask any questions or anything like that, just drop us a message. Facebook's probably the best way to get in contact, and we'll get back to you.
Do you guys sell any sort of merchandise that people can purchase to help support your movement?
Sure. Yeah, we've got a little shop on our website, and it's really just like maybe like lapel badges or things like that. Just basically all that covered is our website helps pay for our website, and if we're maybe travelling to attend a conference, it'll maybe help with a bit like petrol money or something like that. Mm-hmm. We don't take any wages or anything like that. We're all voluntary. It's for us, it's about protecting the sport. We're not out to make money. It's just that people can help us cover the website costs. That's great. It keeps us going.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, that's what it's all about, man. Keep the spirit alive. Keep pushing. Never give up. That's how things die, is when people give up and walk away from them. So even though you're fighting an uphill battle, we appreciate your efforts out there.
We support you. Mm-hmm. For sure.
We got your back.
We've been good visiting. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for being on the show, Dave.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate the opportunity. It's been great talking to you.
Absolutely. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah. No.
Thanks for joining us on the Gun Shop Show.
Thanks for having me.
Want to hang out with us for a little bit? We're going to let the outro music play here. We like to keep a ridiculous conversation going. Sometimes we talk about it's usually me. Okay, it's usually I'm the one talking about the ridiculous thing. And I always like to be the last person. Since I am the one that's cutting the show, I get the last word of it every time. Usually it's something to do, nothing to do with the show. I always like to be the last person. Since I am the one that's cutting the show, I get the last word almost every time, and it usually has pig's feet.